Ms. Anna Payne claims that after spending years searching for her father, she has brought the defendant, Mr. Yates, to the courtroom to prove once and for all that he is her biological father. Mr. Yates claims that he was blindsided by allegations that Ms. Anna Payne is not his daughter. Their case starts off like this.
Ms. Anna Payne, after years of searching for your father, you have brought the defendant, Mr. Yates, to court today to prove once and for all that he is your biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ha ha. I don't think any kid is going to hear their mother say something like that and they won't be confused. That's a heavy truth bomb to drop on a child at a very young age. Well, at least mother told her the truth from the onset, so that's something.
You said you knew absolutely nothing until 4 years ago.
Your Honor, I have here a summons for child support dated 4 years ago.
Let me see that evidence. Jerome, will you hand that to me? So you're saying you received a summons?
Your Honor, I was at work and Mobile County Sheriff's Department showed up at my job calling me to the side to talk about the summons, telling me I had to appear in court.
Wow, I'm sure that was not an easy conversation with his wife. Mr. Yates says that he had no idea that Ms. Anna Payne existed up until 4 years ago when he was summoned to pay child support. He even goes further to say that he hasn't thought about Ms. Anna Payne's mother in almost 20 years.
Oh, Ms. Payne, I want to ask you, because I see you shaking your head. This isn't true?
No, ma'am, it's not.
Tell me what your account of this is.
He would drive us down to the place where I found out I was pregnant, and he was in there with me when I found out.
Oh, so you went to a clinic, a facility to find out if you were pregnant, and you say he went there with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Looks like someone isn't telling the truth. Ms. Anna Payne's mother told the judge that Mr. Yates knew about the pregnancy and even drove her to the clinic when they had ultrasounds. Mr. Yates, on the other hand, says that he has 5 children and he remembers all their visits to the hospital.
I had another one on the way. I didn't need to be raising a third one, because all he did was whine and cry about what he couldn't get and what his parents didn't do for him. I made a decision to end the relationship.
Oh, you did? So
Yes, ma'am.
you broke things off?
Yes, ma'am.
Honestly, that's pretty fair. Ms. Anna Payne's mother says that she always knew that Mr. Yates was the father of her child. She tried to track him down when the baby was born, but he disappeared. She also admits that she reached out to his mother a few times over the years.
When I got the summons 4 years ago, I requested a DNA test.
You did. Let me see that, Jerome. So as soon as you heard of this, you did not do like some men in this courtroom do and ignore
the responsibilities. I wanted proof.
That's weird. Mr. Yates submits evidence that shows that he requested a DNA test when he found out about Ms. Anna Payne. What's surprising is that after he took his DNA test and went back to court, he was told that there was not going to be a DNA test.
Do you remember this action, Ms. Payne?
I remember getting the notice, but I don't remember if we didn't have a way or forgot about it or what happened why we didn't make it.
So you do remember it, that it was supposed to happen, but you can't remember why you didn't make it.
Right.
Somehow, that sounds like a lie. Ms. Anna Payne's mother admits that she was aware about the DNA test and was in fact summoned to appear. But she then says that she either forgot to go or couldn't find a way to get to the court. Sounds like a fishy excuse for real.
Maybe I should go look for her, or was it in the back of your mind somewhere?
Not until about 9 months ago. I made some changes on my Facebook account. I got about 50 messages all at one time, and it turned out she had been trying to contact me for 2 years, but I wasn't getting any of the messages until I made that adjustment to the notification.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. That explains why she said in the very beginning that she spent years trying to look for her father. Apparently, Miss Anna Payne sent multiple messages to Mr. Yates on Facebook, but he had a setting that allowed him to receive messages from only friends, so that prevented him from getting all her messages.
So, Mr. Yates, when you saw all of the messages, did you read through them, or did you just say you saw all the messages from one person and just wrote back, who is this?
I didn't get a chance to read all of them right off the bat. At first, I saw a couple of the messages, and I decided to take a break at work to step outside to call her so that we could talk and see.
Wow, I can't believe he actually said something like that. It seems like he actually didn't want to accept the fact that Ms. Anna Payne could be his daughter. There's no way she tells him things about his family, and he replies that she can find them on the internet.
What are the other reasons why you doubt Miss Payne is your biological child?
Me and Miss Payne were only together for a few weeks, only had sex a handful of times.
Well, you know it only takes once. You have other children,
sex
so
clearly leads to children,
and you,
kind of living proof.
You do admit that it was unprotected? Do you admit that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, that cancels that. Mr. Yates says he has no idea if Ms. Anna Payne's mother was sleeping with other men. His other reason for doubting he is the father is because they only slept with each other for a few weeks. Well, it does take once to make a baby. Let's see what the results have to say about this case.
Mr. Payne, you are her father. This is special.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I want you to understand, you are such an example to so many young people here who are still looking for their fathers. You, my dear, are an example of what you do when you just continue to step out on faith.
Ms. Harris claims that her 15-year-old on and off relationship with the defendant, Mr. Sterling, has produced a baby that he does not want to help raise. She wants to prove that he is the father, and she needs him to step up and be a man. Mr. Sterling has an entirely different story to tell. Their case begins like this.
Ms. Harris, you claim that your 15-year on and off relationship with Mr. Sterling has produced a baby that he is trying to get out of helping raise. You are here to prove paternity and force him to step up. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Well, Ms. Harris clearly means business, and she's not here to fool around. She really wants Mr. Sterling to step up, but the thing is, Mr. Sterling does not believe that he is the father of the child. He says that he is not ready to raise another man's child.
First of all, that's not my baby, and I'm going off of what Charity is telling me.
First of all,
What did she tell
it
you?
is his baby, and he knows it's his baby.
That is not the truth.
It is his baby.
She tells me when we get to arguing, this is not your baby. And
yeah,
you need,
because he get on my nerves, and I don't want him to be in my life.
Ha ha ha. Maybe she is right, but she is the one with his baby. Mr. Sterling says that everything they argue, she always tells him he is not the father, and the moment they are back on good terms, the story changes.
He wasn't doing nothing before the bell got rung about him not being the
So
father.
you're saying
Yana.
even before you said this, he was not stepping up to the plate.
And he was cheating the whole time I was pregnant. He
that's
was
a
cheating.
negative.
Shots are definitely being fired in the courtroom. Ms. Harris tells the judge that while she was pregnant, Mr. Sterling was cheating on her. And even before she ever told him he was not the father out of anger, he still wasn't doing anything for the baby.
So now the first date on this calendar says that the doctor's appointment was on March 21st. And the doctor says that Ms. Harris is 6 to 8 weeks pregnant. And you had sex on Valentine's Day. So now, if we count back 6 to 8 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks.
Mr. Sterling might be onto something right there. Apparently, he says that the time the baby was conceived doesn't add up. And when he submits the calendar showing the dates, even Judge Lauren seems to notice that it actually doesn't add up.
What I asked him was, what is your doubt based on? Why are you so distant from this baby? Why don't you believe this baby is yours?
Well,
and he's trying to say to me, these are my reasons. Number one, she told me I wasn't. Number two, when I did the calculation, this is what I came up with. This is his evidence he submitted to the court.
Right.
I mean, it's really that simple. I don't know why Ms. Harris is acting like she did not tell him that he was not the father of the child. If we're being honest, there's no man on earth you'll tell that to, and he isn't going to have doubts. Ms. Harris needs to take a chill pill.
And now, Mr. Sterling,
This ain't
Yes,
a
ma'am.
flash.
please tell me if there is any other reason why you doubt Kaysen is your biological child.
When she was 8 months pregnant, she told me that it was another guy who could be the baby's father.
That would honestly be my reaction if I were to be in his shoes. Seems like Ms. Harris likes to say a lot of things when she is angry. She told Mr. Sterling during one of their arguments that another man was the father of the child and she didn't care if he stayed or left.
So, Ms. Harris, did you have sex with another man 2 weeks before you had sex with Mr. Sterling?
It wasn't
on the
2 weeks.
14th?
Yeah,
It was
true.
like 3 weeks. It was like not even 3 weeks.
Finally, Mr. Harris says something that makes sense in the courtroom. She confesses that she actually slept with another man 2 weeks before she slept with Mr. Sterling. How sure is she that Mr. Sterling is even the father of the child?
That's the reason we here today. And
Exactly,
the
because you're
problem
a
is-
liar. You need to step
No,
up pretty
listen,
much.
I don't want to take care of another man's child.
You want to take care of the children.
Yes, I
that's
do.
yours.
Yes,
You
I
don't
do.
take
I
care
love
of
him. I
yourself.
love that
So
little
don't
boy,
sit
and
here
you know
and
that.
It's very surprising that these two were even able to sleep together in the same room. Look at them arguing like kids in high school. Jeez. Oh well. Ms. Harris says that she believes Mr. Sterling is the father because she used protection when she slept with the other man.
Well, Your Honor, I just want to say, with all the doubt that he has, first of all, he was there with all my doctor visits.
Yes.
He was there when I delivered my baby.
Yes.
Along with flirting and cheating on me throughout my whole pregnancy. He was at the hospital flirting with nurses.
That actually makes sense. Ms. Harris explains that Mr. Sterling was there for everything, from doctor's appointments to even cutting the umbilical cord. If he did all of this, why does he then say he doesn't believe he is the father? He even signed the birth certificate.
Thing about it, Your Honor, like at the 8 months when we got into it over the argument, I thought it was just because she might have been mad. Maybe she did just say this out of the
You
side
knew
of
you
her.
cheated and you lied and you wrong.
Whatever. So maybe she did say this out of just spite, you know what I'm saying?
Man, these two are just hilarious. Judge Lauren can't even contain her laughter. Well, Mr. Sterling signed the birth certificate because at some point he actually believed he was the father. Oh well, the results are in. Let's put this case to rest once and for all.
Mr. Sterling, you are the father.
Exactly. So what you got to say now,
You
baby?
are his father.
All this, next. See, you know, we got to leave here. You know that, right? Why
You know what, Miss Harris? There are men that don't come see their children because they don't want to deal with a woman that acts like you.
Ms. Booker says that her childhood was full of bullying and pain, and now the only man she ever knew to be her father is denying paternity. She's with her mother in the courtroom to prove that the defendant, Mr. Booker, actually is her father. Well, here is how their dramatic case starts in the courtroom.
Ms. Booker, you say your childhood was full of bullying and pain. Now the only man you have ever known as your dad is denying paternity. You and your mother opened your case to prove to the defendant that he is your father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty harsh thing to say. Ms. Booker claims that her father always told her that he would take her off his will even before he had doubts. She says that the only reason he is denying her is because of money. Looks like they are on the same page as far as that is concerned.
Part of it is, yes.
It is.
Yes.
And do you also agree that she's 34 years old and you know that it was her understanding that you her biological father?
Your Honor, I raised Lorraine and my other daughter, Rashida, mainly by myself the last part of their lives. Miss Gant was nowhere in the picture.
Well, clearly, Mr. Booker does not play about his money. He says that he needs to know if Ms. Booker is his daughter, and if it happens that she's not, he wants her off the will so he can make room for his other daughters, who he is certain are his.
We had a relationship. We lived together. I came home from work one day during the lunch break. I saw a guy come out of my apartment building.
That's not true.
Running, fastening his pants up. I get upstairs. I say to Miss Gant, I said, who was that came out of our apartment? She says, oh, that was from the lady from next door, and...
Aha! I knew there had to be more to the story, and it's starting to make sense. Mr. Booker explains that one night when they were drunk and got into an argument, Ms. Gant, Ms. Booker's mother, told him that he was not the dad. Oh, and let's not forget the fact that he said he caught her cheating too.
And I want to know if you ever were told Mr. Booker was not your biological father.
When I was in high school, I was pregnant. I got pregnant at 16. I didn't know how to tell him that. He told me and my sister Rashida that if we was to ever get pregnant, that we was grown and we would have to move out.
Damn. Oh, Ms. Gant is very upset, and she is not hiding her anger at all. Her daughter, Ms. Booker, tells the judge that Mr. Booker always treated her differently than the way he treated his other kids, and that is what is making her mother upset.
You only believe Mr. Booker was your biological father, and yet you were informed by him that your other sister was his favorite.
Yes, ma'am.
Somehow, I doubt what Mr. Booker is saying. He admits that his first daughter is actually his favorite daughter, but also says that he also loved Ms. Booker the way he loved his first daughter. If that's the case, why then does she feel like he didn't treat her the same way?
During that time frame in your relationship, were you, Ms. Gant, having sexual relations with any other man during the window of conception?
No, ma'am, I didn't. I was always working and busy.
Phew, what a dramatic case. Ms. Gant says that she never slept with anyone while they were together, and it's absurd that he has doubts about paternity. Though she admits that she did tell him during their argument that he was not the father, she says that she did it because she was trying to push his buttons.
But it's true. Every parent has a favorite. That does not mean.
Listen. Every parent doesn't have a favorite.
Every parent.
Now, no, every parent doesn't have a favorite. Every parent does not have a favorite.
Oh, come on, Mr. Booker. How on earth could he have known? It's something he said, and now his other daughters used it as a weapon when they had sibling fights with Ms. Booker. Like Judge Lauren said, no parent should have a favorite child.
I make the following specific gift. I leave all jewelry, family photos, and a BMW vehicle to Rashida A. Booker. I leave a Chevrolet pickup truck to Rashida Booker and Lorraine Booker. Wiley.
Don't get nothing.
So wait, you leave the BMW to Rashida, and then Rashida and Lorraine have to share the pickup truck?
Be a terrible fight.
Wow, honestly, that is just evil from Mr. Booker. Even if this case gets resolved and Ms. Booked turns out to be his daughter, they are going to be fighting about everything. At this point, I think we need to see the DNA results.
Mr. Booker, you are the father.
I apologize. I'm sorry. I love you. Come here to me.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Charles.
Oh, really?
Thank you, Charles.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Short is here with her mother because her first love, the defendant, denies that he fathered her 21-month-old baby. She needs help taking care of the baby, and she wants the defendant to step up and play his part. Mr. Johnson, the defendant, however, has a totally different story to tell the judge.
Ms. Short, you and your mother opened your case today because your first love, the defendant, denies he fathered your 21-month-old son, Jabari. You are a single teenage mother who needs help, and you demand Mr. Johnson step up and be a father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Men, that's actually so sad. Ms. Short is still in school, and it's difficult for her to take care of the baby while she's a student. Believe me, that can't be easy. I wonder how she got into such a situation.
How did you meet?
Well, it was on Facebook, and we used to text. He was my first kiss. First everything.
Okay, so after you met, you all started having sex, and at some point, you find out you're pregnant.
Yes.
This is why they tell kids to stay away from adult activities. I think we know why now. Ms. Short says that Mr. Johnson was her first everything. It broke her heart when he told her he wanted to be with another woman. Her reaction to that was to sleep with another guy.
At what point did you realize Ms. Short was even pregnant?
See, Your Honor, I was away. I found out she was pregnant 6 months into her pregnancy.
Okay, and were you informed that you were the biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, the truth is starting to pop out. Mr. Johnson says that he found out about the baby when she was already 6 months pregnant. His doubts originated from Ms. Short's friends telling him that the other guy could be the potential father of her child.
Your Honor, it was an ex-friend. I thought she was my friend. He was like, because I was like, it was a possibility. So I was like, I'm scared to let the moms know. She was like, you need to let them know so it won't be any confusions when the baby get here.
At least she's been able to clear the doubt. She explains that the friend Mr. Johnson is talking about is no longer her friend because she thought she could confide in her. And sadly, she went to give Mr. Johnson the wrong information.
All right, I want to hear from you, Miss Mabry, because you remember having this conversation with Miss Short?
Yes, ma'am.
You did, and you said to her, if you need anything, just let me know.
Yes, and it also went further into a blood test. They wanted me to do a blood test because this other dude saying he wanted to know if DeMaze was the father, if DeMaze's not the father.
Mr. Johnson and his mother have a point, though. They express their anger and say that there were several times that they wanted to build a bond with the baby, but Ms. Short and her parents would not allow them to do that. There's already the doubt, so not allowing them to see the baby is just raising so many questions.
Mr. Johnson is the biological father of your child when you said you also had slept with another person as well.
I'm going by the dates. I had my due date was January 14th.
Okay.
I had him January 8th. I had sex with Mr. Johnson April 23rd. And May 3rd It's just too close.
That just makes the whole thing complicated. Honestly, Ms. Short slept with both Mr. Johnson and the other guy, but she says that she believes Mr. Johnson is the father of her baby because the proximity of the date she slept with Mr. Johnson is closer than when she did with the other guy.
So when the baby was born, Mr. Johnson, were you there?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, Your Honor, I was finna, but I didn't have my ID at the time to sign the birth certificate.
And he wasn't gonna sign nothing until we found out the truth.
That host shows what type of man Mr. Johnson is. He tells the judge that if the child ends up being his, he is going to take care of the child. And that's why he wrote that letter to Ms. Short in the first place. Oh well, the results from the DNA test are in. Let's find out the truth, shall we?
Mr. Johnson, you are the father.
I'll be there for him.
Good. I'm glad you will.
This all I want to know to get all the other extra stuff out the way.
Mrs. Gamboa, in this case, cries out to the judge, saying that she is fed up with her husband always accusing her of sleeping with everyone. She says he even accused her of sleeping with their babysitter. Well, here is how she began her case.
Mrs. Gamboa, you say you're fed up with your husband because he's repeatedly accused you of cheating, even with the babysitter.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're here today to set things straight because you say his doubt about paternity has led to the emotional neglect of your one-year-old son, Dominic.
Ha ha, that definitely sounded like a suspicious act in my ears. But hold up, let's not judge a book by its cover. Mr. Gamboa claims that the baby does look like their former babysitter. Could he be overreacting?
My stepfather had called me saying that the babysitter was asleep in my room on the floor with the door shut with my wife in there.
The door wasn't shut, Your Honor.
She said he was on the bed.
Well, when I had got home that morning, he was on the bed.
The door wasn't shut, Your Honor.
These two sure sound like two confused adults, that's for sure. Mr. Gamboa claims that his stepdad told him that the babysitter was locked in the room with his wife. With the way this is going, we might have to speak to his stepfather.
If she was in the bed with the babysitter.
Because we've been together for so long, you should know that I wouldn't do that to you.
You're lying, stop.
So hold on. So you're working a graveyard shift all night?
Yes.
I mean, he does have a point. It's only fair that he sleeps with his kids in the other room. Why does he have to sleep in the same room where Mr. Gamboa and his wife sleep? Something smells funny about this story.
Look at the back of his head.
The babysitter walks like you?
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. And the back shape of his head too looks just like the babysitter's.
He looks just like his dad. He has the same bump in the back of his head. He has the same birthmark on the same arm as our other son.
Seems like Mrs. Gamboa is the one dishing out reasonable points now. If he truly had issues trying to have a child, he would deny both kids and not just one child. Which then begs the question, who is telling the truth?
So let me ask you this. How has this doubt affected your connection with Dominic, Mr. Gamboa?
I mean,
have you bonded with the child?
No, I haven't.
You have not?
I have not bonded with the child. He's
a year-old, handsome young man.
He's mostly with his mom. He will not come to me. He cries. He throws a fit.
Your Honor, I brought videos of it. He doesn't bond with him. He doesn't do anything with him.
Is it just me, or was their yapping starting to make my ears hurt? Oh well, Mr. Gamboa has never tried to bond with the child since birth, and Mrs. Gamboa says he does it on purpose because he doesn't want to believe that child belongs to him.
I mean, when somebody has a set of keys to your apartments and he's snapping photos saying that this is his house and wanting to...
But that's
the babysitter was doing that?
Yes.
Right. Your Honor, I strongly believe that our babysitter was trying to mess up our marriage.
Man, this is one messy situation. I'm pretty sure the question on everyone's mind is where the babysitter is. Trust me, he has a lot of questions to answer as regards this case. But could she be right? Was he really trying to mess up their marriage?
Mr. Gamboa was there 13 hours throughout my pain, suffering, everything. He cut the umbilical cord, gave him a kiss, took pictures with him. 20 minutes after I gave birth to Dominic, he left and gave me a kiss saying he was gonna go get clothes and come back because I was in a lot of pain when I had Dominic.
She couldn't have said it any better. Why would you tell your pregnant wife, who just gave birth, that you were going to get some clothes and you would not come back until after 2 days? Who does that?
I got out Monday morning. He did not go to work. I called his phone. I called his parents.
Yes, I did go to work. I had hours to prove for it.
At the first day, I was supposed to go home, and he had jaundice, and I had to stay there. And I called him, scared out of my mind, to help me with him, and he wouldn't come.
Now that is one heartless man. I mean, yes, it's okay to have doubts about the child, but being 3 wicked to the mother of the baby, that's just going too far. At this point, it's safe to say she deserves better.
Right here, this is Mr. Gamboa and Dominic on the video, okay? Okay, that's your son, go get him. Like, what the heck? You walked away, you turned your back on him.
I've never turned my back on him. I've taken care of him.
Now he's climbing, okay? That's climbing. If it was our other son, he would automatically just grab him.
If it turns out that he is the father of the child, he should better be put behind bars. Why would you play with the baby's life in such a way? That's just sad. Anyway, here are the results from the DNA.
Mr. Gamboa, you are his father.
Thank you. That's your baby. Bond with him. No more excuses. Bond with him.
Yes, I will. I will be his father.
As you will have it, here's another relationship about to hit a brick wall. Ms. Polzin appears in court and has brought her partner, Mr. Callender, to court with the hopes of saving what's left of their relationship. She hopes to prove to the court and Mr. Callender that the bae belongs to him. Well, here's how it all begins.
Ms. Polzin, you've summoned Mr. Callender to court in hopes of salvaging what is left of your relationship. You say he denies your daughter Zoe, but today you intend to prove paternity. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Apparently, Mr. Callender loves the child. He says he has built a bond with her that's almost inseparable, but he just can't seem to erase the fact that Ms. Polzin has a pattern of sleeping with several men.
But Mr. Callender, you do question it.
Yes, ma'am. It's like a dark cloud hovering over us, keeping us, I think it's preventing us from moving forward. Just the uncertainty, not knowing 100% that I'm her father.
After hearing that, trust me, you can tell that these guys are holding on by a thread. They definitely love each other and their baby girl, but Mr. Callender just needs to be certain the baby belongs to him. I wonder how they got themselves into such a mess.
We went our separate ways, and we both got in long-term relationships, and my last long-term relationship, we were having hard times towards the end of it. It was about 9 years, and he hit me up on Facebook, Mr. Callender did. And we just started talking, rekindling our love again, and we started seeing each other again.
Ow! Is it just me, or are there some loopholes in that story? Apparently, Ms. Polzin was in a relationship with someone else when she reunited her feelings for Mr. Callender. The crazy thing is, they were also kicking it in bed while she was still in a relationship. Sounds fishy, right?
Well, it was about a week after she had moved into her apartment after getting most of her things out of the residence.
A week?
But I was only having sexual contact with Mr. Callender. My ex were living in separate rooms. We had a lot of assets.
Remember when I said their story sounded fishy? Well, I guess you know why. Mr. Callender tells the judge that Ms. Polzin told him she was pregnant a week after she had moved out of her previous partner's apartment. That definitely doesn't add up.
He shows up with soup and a teddy bear because she's sick, but how did he know that she was sick if they haven't been communicating?
Soup and a teddy bear?
He would bring me flowers to work and left a soup and a teddy bear.
Aha! Even Judge Lauren isn't buying her story. Mrs. Polzin tells the court that she wasn't sleeping with her ex-partner. Now, if she wasn't sleeping with her ex-partner, how did he know she was sick? And why did he bring her soup and a teddy bear? Oh, she has a lot of explaining to do.
That his number was in there, and just out of curiosity, I clicked on it and it said they had had conversations for 30 minutes, another one for an hour, and I asked her about it, what they had been talking about, and she said, he was wanting to know if she wanted to get a few more things from the residence that she had left behind.
Now the cat is out of the bag and it's about to blow up in her face. Ms. Polzin never told Mr. Callender that her ex-partner brought her soup and a teddy bear when she was sick. It came up when they were having an argument. If I were in his shoes, I probably wouldn't believe a single thing she says after that.
And so, when she was born, did you sign her birth certificate?
They wouldn't allow me to. It was like a kick to the chest.
And so then your doubts started spinning.
Yes, and a week or two after that, she was in contact with her ex, and he made the question, could it be mine?
I mean, can you really blame him for having doubts? It told him she wasn't having sex with her ex-partner. Why in heaven's name would he then ask if the baby belongs to him? Man, Ms. Polzin sure knows how to keep secrets.
As you were getting the last few things out of your house, he had made the comment, you said that he would ask for one last shebang.
Oh, really?
Yes, he did.
But you declined?
No, of course I declined. I had been over that relationship for a very long time, and I had only been sexually active with Mr. Callender.
With a look on her face, I'm sorry, but I do not believe a single word that's coming out of her mouth for real. There are so many loopholes with what she's saying, and she just doesn't seem like a truthful person.
I'm his mother.
You are his mother?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you know about the paternity surrounding baby Zoe? Do you believe your son is her biological father?
I hope and pray that he is. We have a very strong bond.
And I can see how emotional that makes you.
Yes, ma'am.
You can see it in her face. Mr. Callender's mother wants the baby to be her son's child. She tells Judge Lauren that they've built a strong bond with the child, and she doesn't want that bond to break the child's heart.
So, Ms. Allen, do you believe this relationship can withstand the realization that Zoe is not your son's biological child?
I don't believe it would.
So you believe if she's not his, this relationship is over?
Yes, ma'am.
There's definitely a lot at stake for everyone in the courtroom. Is Mr. Callender going to end up as the father of the child? I guess the DNA results are going to reveal the truth.
Mr. Callender, you are the father. I told you. You are the father, and I'm so happy I could give you the result all of you so desperately wanted. And now we can figure out where to go from here.
I want his name put on the birth certificate.